We were interviewing an actress a couple of days ago who felt there wasn't a great sense of community, new to New York, not so great sense of community. Is the church still a haven for community in New York City?
Yeah, New York can be pretty formidable for people who weren't raised here, and most of the people in New York have come from some other place. So it is always a little difficult, I think, for people who are not used to being here to find that community. This church, it's a large church, fairly large church, about 1,500 members. And it continues to be one of those places that that's one of the things that draw people here and keep people coming back. They do come in part for that sense of community. And one of the things that we are just beginning to do here, because we also, in a large group like this, we also have the same problem. It is, how do you get a community out of 1,500 people? One of the things that we've just been doing this last year is creating smaller configurations of people, 8 to 10 people, meeting about once every other week. And the point of there's always a focus of the discussion. And the point of it is to encourage people to share something of themselves and their own life so that they become connected to a smaller group of people within the church. And then that goes on for about 9 months, and then we reconfigure, and so that people get a chance to do that. When we discovered that when people join a church, if they do not make a connection with a smaller group of people like that fairly soon, or some project or something that they're interested in doing, they don't tend to stay. So we have a lot of programs in this church of outreach and a lot of opportunities for people to volunteer, but what we discovered is we don't have a lot of opportunities for people to just come to know themselves in a little deeper way. And that's what we're beginning to do, and we're finding a lot of positive response to that. So,
and it's a time of uncertainty, isn't it? I think even the 2.5 years since we've last been in New York City, it may be in our imaginations, a lot more people out on the street, a lot more people approaching us for money. So again, what role can the church play there, and any answers it can provide?
Well, you're absolutely right. This is a much more anxious time than when you were here before. That's partly because of the collapse of the economy. There are a lot of people out of work. There are more people on the street. Churches like this one of the things they do is provide meal programs for homeless people. Twice a week we feed about 300 people here. And that's all run by volunteers, people within the church. People from outside the church come and help as well, because there are a lot of volunteers who come and do this who aren't really members of the church, but it's all organized from within the congregation. And we find that there's a lot of this kind of thing. The demand is huge. It's certainly grown in the last 3 years. And it's one of the ways we have of trying to give ourselves back to the community a bit. But there's no doubt that this is an anxious time for a lot of people. And one of the things that the church also does is, I think, one of the reasons why we do have a fairly large congregation and a fairly consistent group of people is that it provides some kind of center of meaning in what can be, for many people, a very difficult or anxious moment as well. So,
thank you, David.
Okay.